Now then, people, good afternoon. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. You'll be happy to know and safe in the knowledge that your man Andrea will be joining us very, very shortly. So what we'll do is just quickly run through what we're up to on this stage, because the Athletic have ran with a piece this morning, 5:28 a.m. to be precise, to say that Leeds, I'll just quickly run through the news. Andrea's with us now, so I'll be 2 minutes, Andrea. Leeds United are shopping for a goalkeeper this summer. And in the article, he has again named Lyon's Lucas Perri and mine's Robin Zentner are on Leeds' shortlist. There will be more names that are in the public domain at the time of writing. And then, of course, we heard last night from the Marzio that we are after Vanja, Milinkovic-Savic as well. So that's the latest update on that. Now, I'm going to quickly change my screen because it looks aesthetically pleasing when we bring in Mr. Andrea, who, by the way, I know you mentioned Savic here. Like, he's giving me Savic vibes, to be fair, today. You know, the defender, the centre-back, you actually look like Savic today.
Yeah, Stefan.
yeah, Stefan Savic. How you doing, bro? You good?
Good. Good to be back. Like,
it's good to have you back, mate. Are you not in the office today?
Always. No, it's my lunch break, man. Just finished a salad.
Nice,
with feta, all that, or tomato, that kind of stuff, you know.
Nice, man.
The summer ones, summer dishes.
Ethan, member for 50 months, you know. Wow, that's insane. He says, wow, I can't believe it, Joe. Which goalkeeper do you want to get? Well, we'll touch on that, actually, on the video. Like, out of the three that we know mentioned, who would we prefer? But before we do, let's get the Italian side of the saga out of the way by speaking to Andrea. Obviously, we know Vanja is wanted by Napoli. We know he has a release clause. He currently plies his trade in Torino. And Andrea will be... There's no one better placed than Andrea to tell us about Vanja and obviously the current situation with Napoli. So I'll hand over to you, Andrea, and fill us in on the current situation, my man.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's a great link, honestly.
Yeah.
Ciao, Ian.
I think they all are, right? Link. All three keepers.
Yeah, all three.
On this,
all three. Yeah. Very similar goalkeepers to, you know, in terms of structure, body type, the way they play the role, you know. So absolutely three very good links. I think Vanja especially is a great link because he's been, like I said to you yesterday, you know, when we spoke, the best goalkeeper in Serie A per number of saves made last season, 138. So nobody has made more saves than him last season in Serie A. So it's a great link on our side, and honestly, it seems easier than others, you know, because there's a clause. So if you meet the clause, you get ahead of other clubs. So it seems easier from the outside, you know, because there's this specific clause for Italian clubs, 19 million euros, 19.5 million euros. And then there's another clause for European clubs. I found this thing too because Baiocchini from Sky Italy said that earlier on a show they did. So there's this clause for us, of course, 21 million euros.
So and the one for Europe is 21 million, right?
21 million euros, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
19.5 instead for the Italian clubs. Both of them run out till 31st of July. So if you want to meet that release clause, you have till the 31st of this month to
which is around about 18 million for us, right? In English,
it's around 19 million pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, 19 million pounds. Exactly. So it seems easy on that side. They also said though that the player was really convinced that he was going to join Napoli in recent weeks because Napoli were very interested. The problem is that they didn't want to pay 19 million euros, the Italian release clause, and they wanted to lower that price around 16, around 15, you know, because there's another deal that Torino and Napoli are doing separately, because the new manager of Torino, Marco Baroni, who used to be the Lazio manager last season, has already coached Sirin Gong, the Belgian striker at Napoli, at Verona. So he has asked the director of football at Torino, Vagnati, to get Ngong for Napoli and for Torino, because he wants him again. He already managed him at Verona and wants him at Napoli. So Napoli, for that, they tried to lower the price, and apparently Torino said, no, we can go ahead with that deal, and apparently it's gonna get done around 8 million euros for Ngong, but you have to pay the full amount of the clause to get Milinkovic-Savic. So now Napoli have stalled, and that's why, according to Italian sources, we have entered the fold, because we were notified about the stall in the negotiation between Napoli and Torino. So we said, oh, we have that money. We asked information, and now we're evaluating if we're going to pay the clause or not, but because Torino won't accept less than the release clause. So it's 21 million euros for us, 90 million pounds, of course, on British sterling, you know. The thing is, of course, you have to convince the player too, because like Lucky pointed out yesterday in our group chat, you know, it's a work appear. So he wants to challenge for the top spot for Serbia, where his brother Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, top player now playing for Al Hilal, plays too, you know. There's 3 very good goalkeepers, Predrag Rajkovic.
They related, did you say?
Yeah, the brothers.
So I knew they had the same name. I did not know they were brothers, you know. Genuinely didn't know that.
They are. They were born.
I didn't know that.
They are brothers. They are brothers. They have also. You see the picture that I posted yesterday of him with the dog, the Bordeaux. He's a big dog. You know, Sergei has another dog too. You know, they're dog lovers. You know, there's a lot of pictures of them looking like hooligans, with the dogs looking like very angry. You know, like I said, you know, the first time we talked about Vanya, I think it was 2 weeks ago. You know, when we were talking about the goalkeepers in the chat, I said if Vanya hadn't become a footballer, he would have been a hooligan. Because really, he's a unit. He's a leader. You know, he's really scary. I really mean really 100%. Scary in terms of Vinnie Jones style, honestly.
Yeah,
Vinnie Jones style. Yeah, in that category. But again, you have to convince him, because he once convinced he was going to join Napoli, but now the negotiation have stalled. Of course, another thing is he's out of contract next summer, so for Torino, it would have been good to find a buyer that pays that money, and he earns around 1.3 million euros per year, of course.
Okay.
There's also another club, man, Fenerbahce, too, interested, Mourinho.
You think the thing is, I think we can beat Turkish clubs. It's the even if they've got Champions League, Europe, whatever. I think the Premier League's a bigger draw. The big one is Napoli, though, right? The only thing is, though, like you've mentioned, it's a case of it's the money in it, right? English teams can pay the money. We've got the money for Vanya. For me, Andrea, go and pay it, man. I think
Absolutely,
what is he? 6'8". He's an absolute
beast.
Like he's a demon, isn't he? You know what I mean? We've seen him going like this to players, come on, and giving it all that, man. He will fit into the Premier League. He will fit in being a Leeds United player as well. We love that stuff. So, you know, 100%, man. He's the one. I mean, we'll touch on the others, but like Mikey says, Vanya has Leeds legend written all over him. His age as well, I think, gives us 5 years out of him. You know what I mean? It gives us a long time, and it's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. 28, 27, 28. So, of course, goalkeepers these days go around 39, 40 years old. So look at Buffon, 44. But yeah, honestly, is the perfect fit for us, honestly. Great shot stopper. Very good with his feet too. So if you want to have a keeper that plays with his feet too in the build-up, it's been the biggest weakness, apart from, of course, concentration and consistency in melee game, the distribution. Vanya, I've seen a clip doing the rounds of him, taking a free kick in the Italian Cup quite a few years ago against Scarpi, where he hit the crossbar. So he has a great technique, But I think there's another thing that you need to tell him, try to convince him to accept to move to the Premier League. Of course, being a top GK starter in the Premier League, because at Napoli they are looking. Conte wants a number one a goalkeeper that might challenge for the number one spot, the starter spot, with the Alex Meret, the current number one. So down there at Napoli, it won't be the number one immediately, but it will be a similar situation to like David Raya, Aaron Ramsdale, Keylor Navas, Donnarumma, that kind of situation. So yeah.
And will he want that though, right? Like Lockie said, it's a World Cup year, and at the minute, Petrovic is ahead of him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Dragan Stojkovic has chosen Petrovic, so he was the starter at the World Cup. Then at the Euros, they picked Predrag Rajkovic. Used to be in Liga 1, I think, or La Liga. Now he's playing in Saudi too, Predrag Rajkovic. And now they have Petrovic as the number one. So it's very open, between
Do you know what as well, though, Andrea? Like, let's say Petrovic gets his move to Sunderland and Vanya comes to Leeds. It's a case of which team's doing the better out of the two, really. Do you know what I mean? If Sunderland struggle, then Vanya has an opportunity to go, well, we're not in the relegation zone. I'm making save after save. So it is a big one. And like Joe said here, the point is he's going in to be competing. He's definitely not going to get the World Cup spot there. Whereas if he comes to Leeds, he knows he's guaranteed to be number one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe, there's another thing to Joe B. Meret, I don't know if he's going to go to the World Cup, because right now it looks really unlikely that we will go Italy to the World Cup again, So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I agree with your reasoning, your thoughts, absolutely. If you go to Leeds, Premier League, top exposure, you can be a leader, you can be yourself. It's an upgrade compared to Torino, because Torino won't be challenging for Europe next season. So Leeds, if the project, like you said, 28, you can stay for 4 or 5 years and be with the team while the team grows. So on parallel lines,
And what a leader he would be for that young team that we've got, mate. Like, he would be perfect, right? I can imagine him, Do you know what? He gives me Monk vibes from the Longest Yard, with not the Longest Yard, Mean Machine. Have you seen the film Mean Machine with Vinnie Jones?
I don't. Mean Machine. I've seen the Gentleman. I've seen the.
Okay, so you need to watch Mean Machine, which is about Vinnie Jones, who ends up going to prison, and then they get a football team and they play the prison guards, and Jason Statham plays the goalkeeper, and he's called the Monk, and he's not wired right, and so he's crazy, man. You need to watch that film. You'll love it, Andrea. But it reminds me of the Monk. Anyone who's watched The Mean Machine will get what I mean. It's a great film. What do you make?
There was another one, I think. European Tour, something like that, with Vinnie Jones, I think.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to send you the link to that film. You must watch it.
Oh, fine. Absolutely, I will.
You will. What do you make to the other links? Obviously, we've seen Perri linked. There was a news report this morning as well. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. That it says, I think it might have been in L'Equipe, or it could have been in Marseille. Just bear with me one moment. No, it was in Get French. Yeah, Get French Football News, I think. They're saying that, it was in L'Equipe. Lucas Perri could be about to make a move to the Premier League, according to a report from L'Equipe. So that's either Leeds United or Sunderland for me, mate. And I would imagine it's probably the Black Cats, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think so, honestly, because they seem to be looking at our transfer targets and then, try to eject all of them. So, yeah, I think it could be them, to be fair. It could be them. It's between him or Petrovic. And Perri is in demand, so I think it would be more difficult compared to, for example, Vanya.
Yeah.
And Zentner to get him, because Perri's there's also Roma interested, I think.
Yeah.
I
think Perri has he definitely has a lot of suitors. I think Saudi have been linked, like you've mentioned. Monaco have also been linked, who've been pretty busy. I think they've just brought in Pogba and the other gadget, Ansu Fati, so they're being pretty busy. We've been linked in the press, but there's a little. If L'Equipe are saying he's going to the Premier League, I'd imagine it'd be to Sunderland, if I'm honest. But we'll watch this space. What do you make to Robin Zentner, mate? Is it Mainz? Is that or Metz? It's Mainz, isn't it?
Mainz. Yeah. At Mainz.
I don't know much about Zentner at all.
Yeah, I think many people don't know much about him either, because he's been judged on Twitter by a clip from 7 years ago when he made that mistake. So he's been an experienced goalkeeper. So it's reliable. It would be a third choice if you ask me to pick, to rank them three.
Yeah.
I honestly say Vanya top spot
Yeah.
because I think he still hasn't unleashed his real
Full
potential. I think he
Yeah.
can be even better than he already is. Perri number second, also because of the difficulties to get him because there's other clubs interested, and Zentner number three. But it's very different to Melia. He's an experienced goalkeeper. He's been playing the Bundesliga for more than 8 years, basically. And yeah, he's a reliable GK. That typical German number one, like others there, like Radetzky, like I mean German. We play like German. I mean Bundesliga goalkeeper, of course, not necessarily German, but yeah, it's that kind of goalkeepers, So still reliable, but it would be the third choice for me, of course, in this case.
I agree with you, mate. I mean, I think if I was to pick my choice, it would be Vanya, Perri, then Zentner. What I am going to do is put a poll out actually to the chat, and I'll also throw in Finn Darman in there as well because he's been
true.
Is mentioned in the article. So I'll do that. While we do that, mate, I don't know if you've seen, I did put it in our Twitter group that Sasha Tagliafieri has just put a report out to say Fulham has concrete interest in Tolu Arkodare, the Nigerian seen as serious option in the event of Rodrigo Munez's departure. Other Premier League clubs have also made inquiries to Genk, but Cottagers, which of course is Fulham, remain the most concrete possibility as of now. So is it a case, do you think, that Fulham have said, we are willing to do business, but we need to get a replacement first? They've been linked to the American, I think his name's Pepe, and now they're also being linked to
Arudokar, I think he is. Arudokar. I don't know. I don't speak Nigerian.
No. But what do you make to that, mate? Fulham willing to do business, it would seem.
I think if that was the case, they will be very crazy, honestly, because Muniz is 4 times better than Arudokar. There were people, after we did the number 9 scouting report. I don't know if it's the same case for Loki, but for me, say, why didn't you include Arudokar? I think he's a basketball player, honestly. He's tall. He's a poacher in the area, but if you look at him in the build-up, he's slow, not very much movable. He's like a poacher. You remember Kalajdzic from Sasha Kalajdzic from Wolverhampton, the tall Austrian guy that got injured, used to play at the Euros too. Very similar, even less faster than him. So I don't know. Honestly, I think he's a player better suited for Eredivisie, Jupiler Pro League. I don't know in the Premier League. Honestly, I think the difference in terms of intensity might really catch up to him. So they will be very, very crazy. I think Fulham if they replace Muniz with Arudokar. To be fair,
do you think there's a situation though where Muniz is like, listen, I want to go play? I think as well, what we've got to factor in. If they are able to get somewhere close to 40 million, it's a massive win for them in terms of PSR, because I think they paid next to nothing really for Muniz a few years back now. So they might be looking at that kind of thing. Obviously, their number one still is Raul. Yes, Raul Jimenez. So, I did speak to a Fulham fan as well, who's Emilio Dinello. He's actually Italian, the guy. He's a Fulham fan. He said...
British Italian or Italian?
British Italian, yeah.
Oh, he's still Italian.
Yeah. But he says, I sent him a message earlier, because he's maintained he doesn't think Muniz will be sold because Raul Jimenez is coming to the end of his time at Fulham. I did ask him about this, and he says, I see this being another option for a third striker, as we don't need one, rather than a replacement for Muniz. Spurs have also put money on the table, and the offer has been rejected. If the money is too good to turn down, we will have no choice but to let him go. If he goes, we will need 2 strikers. I know the scouts are actively exploring all options. So he still believes that Muniz is not happening.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I agree with him because I think, especially because Raul Jimenez is 34.
Yeah,
I think Muniz really has a chance to be the number one guy at Fulham, and if not, I think he can aim, because he scored 8 goals last season in the Premier League, has shown that he can stay in the league. I think there will be other clubs higher than us, and for the money, if they get around 40 million, I think we massively overpay for him. If we spend 40 millions on Muniz, we read in the articles, if I remember correctly, it was either the YP or the Athletic, I think the YP, when they said that the club was willing to spend around 30 millions for every position they think they will strengthen. So I think 40 will be overpaying. I think it's a dead end for me, mate. In that case, with Muniz, we need to move on. And same for Krstovic, because I've read the quotes from an interview that the director of football at Lecce made yesterday. And he basically said that they want to please the desire, of course, of the player that wants to leave Lecce to play higher. But he said, if you look at his stat, he scored 12 goals and 6 assists last season. And there's players who score less goals in Italy or in Europe too, he said, that are valued around 35, 40 millions. So remember when we spoke about Krstovic, I said, I think they want to start a bidding war for him.
Yeah, of course.
So right now, that's exactly what they want to do. Remember Moretto said Leeds and Lecce have reached an agreement around 23. It seems now they are looking to, find other suitors, other bidders. And the players wants, I think, prefers to join Roma. We've seen him train on his Instagram story, with the Roma shirt that his mate Miles Villar sent him. So I think he wants to stay in Italy. There's rumors of Retegui leaving Atalanta to go to Saudi, or Ken leaving Fiorentina to go to Saudi, and there's an opening there. There's a job application. Yeah, there's La Repubblica in Rome, like Jess said, that says that they found an agreement with the player. One of the newspapers based in Rome, says that they have found an agreement with the player, but not an agreement with Lecce. That's the difference. That's the difference. We haven't reached an agreement with Krstovic, but with the club. Like 2 weeks ago. Now the situation, of course, has changed because there's other clubs interested. And Roma have found an agreement with Krstovic, but not with the club. So it's like the contrary to us. Yeah.
I've just been having a look there as well. I wasn't aware, but Tottenham want Muniz. There's also even talk of Manchester United looking at him or Ollie Watkins as well. Because obviously they're going to miss out on Gyökeres and Osimhen staying in Turkey. So yeah, it may well be maybe something that we can't get done anyway unless we pay the money. And like you say, they're probably going to want somewhere close to 40 million. It's a hell of a lot of money for us to shell out. Do you know? It's a lot.
I think we've been used, man. I think.
Yeah.
When the news came out, of course we had reached an agreement. Yeah. That's great, but I think the news coming out didn't help us, because it notified that the player was waiting and standing for better offers, and it helped Lecce to attract more interest. And they know that, okay, Leeds have that agreement around 23. If you want him, you have to pay more.
Yeah.
So now I think he's waiting for Roma, Atalanta, or Fiorentina. I think we've been playing one, honestly.
It may well be that way. I want to talk about Anton Stach for a bit as well, because obviously we were linked to him last week. There doesn't seem to have been any sort of movement there, and the club did say that it's going to be tough for us, or they expect a lot of competition. That's been reported in Germany as well today. I think in Kicker. Basically, it's come out and said he's not happy at Hoffenheim. He's made some complaints about their pre-season setup and stuff, and obviously be seeing no players coming in or players leaving or whatever. Yeah. He's not happy, so he's flirting with the move. But do you think that's a top target for us, Anton Stach? And it's a bit of a pivot really from the style of Diarra, from the style of Siddiqui, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the fundamental thing, I think, and here we have the man himself that can talk better on him than me. I think the main fundamental man is that he's a different position. He plays in a different position. I've seen people say, move on after Sadiq signed for Sunderland and said, no worries, we'll get Stach. He's not the same position. Sadiq is a box-to-box number 8. Stach is a defensive midfielder. He even played as a centre-back. So these are two. If you get stuck in the number 6, you still need to get another number 8. If you get another number 8, you still need to get another number 6, because you know me, I'm not a big fan of Grujev in the Premier League, and that would be the same for Stach, honestly, because Stach is taller than Grujev, is more movable than Grujev, but the pace is similar. Stach has more pace than Grujev, but the way they play is that kind of defensive midfield. You know, they have some differences, but I think if Stach arrives, he's the replacement of what Grujev offers us and offered us in the last 2 seasons, you know, but taller, slimmer, because he's not much of a physical player, to be fair, if you look at him. And that's another thing that worries me. Roca, when he signed, he was physical, but he didn't have the pace. Here we have the differences. He's more movable, very limited, I think, in space. So he needs space to dictate the play, to be able to use his division that he really has, because he's a very good playmaker. But in that case, the intensity, the physicality, I think will get to him. It's really, I have a lot of doubts looking at what happened with Marc Roca, because Marc Roca was a good player in La Liga, got acquired by Bayern Munich, of course, different body type, but the way they play is similar. Roca, Grujev, Roca more technical, of course. Grujev is more like a bouncer in front of the defense too, on the defensive end. But if we sign him, I think it's for the number 6 position with Ampadu. And then you have to ask yourself what happens with Grujev then.
I think that's fair. We will come to Lockie. Before you answer that, before you tell us about Stach and what Andreas just said, Lockie, William Morrison said, would love to see Milinkovic-Savic. His mentality would make him a Leeds legend. Nice to catch you all live. Just on that, we are running a poll currently, mate. We've got Milinkovic-Savic, Lucas Perri, Robin Zentner and Finn Darman. Who would you go with out of the 4 there? Who would be your preference?
Savic, just because he's massive. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he's got 74% of the vote.
Yeah.
So I think
they're all pretty decent. I'm not watching.
Yeah.
I've not took a lot of thing on goalkeepers. I'll be honest. I probably should start to now, but they all seem like pretty decent targets. But he's 6'8".
Yeah, it's mad.
We need a bit of that, don't we?
Set pieces, defending them. We're going to be animals, man. Animals.
Yeah. We should be. If we're not, there's a big problem, isn't there?
He might not even have to jump, bro. He could just go like that to catch balls. Do you know what I mean?
I won't jump if I see Vanya jumping in the air. If I were a striker, honestly.
Yeah,
definitely. Like that clash between Christensen and Josesa back when they didn't give us the penalty, you know,
which wasn't a red card. Mental.
Yeah. I wanted to say too, if we sign him, because in Italy we say Milinkovic. You know that he has the double surname because he was born in Spain. His father used to play football in Spain, Serbian one. So in Spain they have the double surname. So his father is called Milinkovic and his mother Savic, former basketball player, his mother. So that's why Milinkovic-Savic. But in Italy we just say Milinkovic. So if we want to use the surname, I see in the chat just Milinkovic, not Savic. He doesn't use that.
We'll call him. I think we'll call him the monk. Have you seen Mean Machine, Locker?
Yeah,
you know what I mean with the monk. Andrea's never seen it. I was like, he's got to watch. He's got to watch
that, mate.
It's brilliant. Before you actually, I've got another question for you, Lockie. Before you talk on Stach, what I've liked about Leeds United, it seems like we're doing this methodical one-in kind of transfer saga, because it's like we've gone, right, we'll get the centre-back, right, we'll get a backup centre-back. We're now going to get the left-back in Goodmanson. We expect that could be announced in the next 24, 48 hours, because he did come over, right? And then, obviously, it now looks like we're looking at a goalkeeper. That's the next target, and you go, right, we've got the back 4, and now we start to move up. I like that they're doing it that way instead of, like, just being all scattergun. Thoughts on that, and then you can tell us about Anton Stach as well, bro.
Yeah, I like it. It's like while we're here, we might as well do all of it. You know, like in the supermarket, we're in this aisle, so we'll do all of this. We won't come back. Yeah, it's efficient. It is. You know, we need to sort the defense out. So they've gone, right, well, we'll get not just a starting centre back, we'll get the other one as well. We'll sort that unit out. So then obviously when we're in training, then that centre back unit, there are 4 of them there, are all together, aren't they, straight away, so they can get together. So that's good. Yeah, and then obviously we need left back. Again, that defensive unit, looking at the unit, let's sort the defence out, get a left back, then we've got our back, what, 6, 7 players there all ready to go. Straight away, training, boom, sort the defence out. I love it. Yeah, just very quickly on Goodmanson as well. I've changed my mind on him recently. I wasn't, originally I was a bit, but I made the mistake of watching him against Mohamed Salah. So, but that's going to happen next year, isn't it? That's going to happen. So we have to. So don't expect him to back pocket Salah. That's what I'll say. It was brutal. But what I will say, in reasonable games against not players that are ridiculously world class and have been for years, he actually is very good. I like him. There is an air to him when he drives with the ball of Dallas. You know, when he played at the back, and he kind of just drifts inside and runs through 1 or 2 players, finds a pass, keeps his run going. He's kind of like that kind of guy. But yeah, I just quickly on him. I do quite like him. I think physically he's not massive, but he looks competent. He looks like he's quite a strong player, so, and quite quick as well. So yeah, he'd be decent. I like him. But yeah, what were you asking me about Stach? Was it? Oh, go on, Andre.
Yeah, before we do, obviously, Joe just put a comment in, didn't he? And I was like, Joe, do you want to come and join us? And the guy is getting in peak serious physical condition for the footy game, and he's just said, I'm in the gym watching. So I'm just going to wind him up by showing that photo there. Big up to Joe. Obviously, will be he's getting in some tip-top condition for the Content Creator Cup. And I believe he's playing right centre-back, and I'm right back. So if I make any errors, I've got Joe behind me. I'm also worried he might be like,
he's going to chew your ear off, mate.
Joe, man! I'll be like, Joe!
It's going to be the Irish road in our team, man.
Exactly, man.
Yeah,
exactly. Brilliant. Yeah, Anton Stach, Lockie, fit for Leeds. How likely is it? Because I know you spoke about him previously on your channel as well.
Yeah, weird this, because it's one where I speak about, because I do like him a lot. I think he's an excellent player. But when you dig deep and you look at what we need and what we had in what we linked with in Diarra and Sadiqa, you think, is he that though? And I agree on it. I don't think he is that. I said this before, and it's quite basic, but I'll explain. He's not very agile in the sense that he's good in the air. He can win tackles. He's good at reading the second ball. He is. He's a big lad. He uses his body really well, which is one thing I like about him. So when he does drive, for example, he's not necessarily ridiculously quick, but he uses his body really well. You know, so he can get in front of defenders and then a little touch in front of him with his long legs. You know, he's good at that stuff. He is. But it's, for me, what my worry, and obviously this is the Premier League, would be, like you said, with Rocker. Do you know when Rocker got beat and he kind of got left for dead? He couldn't really turn that quick. He couldn't really go side to side that quick. That's my worry. Just because I think, yeah, how quick we'll get broken on in the Premier League is scary to me. So, you're muted, Joe.
I was going to say, mate, do you think if we buy Stach, we still have to go get a box-to-box player like, you know, like...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I do think so. I think he can... It depends who. Again, it depends who we're playing against, what we're playing, how much possession we've got, which will obviously adjust his role. And he is a very capable player. I do like him. Let me clarify. I do really like him. But again, it's the intensity side of it. I think when I watch Sadiqa, one of the main things is intensity, tempo. When I watch Diarra, intensity, tempo. Stach, he moves a lot. He works very hard, but he's not necessarily rapid. He doesn't get across to defenders or to cover very quickly. He'll do it and he'll work his backside off doing it. But he's not the quickest at doing it. Whereas Sadiqa, you watch Sadiqa, the second that ball goes, you know, behind, he's in there straight away, in the face, getting nowhere near, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we would. And like I said, he can, you know, in the way, kind of, again, talk about Dallas. Dallas could drive forward with it.
Yeah, of course.
But you wouldn't say Dallas was this crazy athlete who took people on. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that in that sense when he's driving with it. Same with Rothwell, I guess. Rothwell would drive with it. But you wouldn't say Rothwell is this guy who likes to take people on and stuff like that. So I'd be happy with him, 100%. I think he's an excellent player. I think he'd be very good for us. He can play in a lot of roles. But yeah, I still think we need that clear box-to-box 8 who's going to attack the box, be a little creative around the box as well, for me.
Yeah. We still... Go on, Andrea.
No, a quick one. I think if we were looking to get a number 6 that can play also number 8, or a number 8 that can play number 6, you just have to look at Freiburg. Osterhag and Eggestein, they've been alternating in the 6 and the 8, and they are more movable and faster than Stach. So, you know me, I'm not shy. I think I prefer one of them rather than Stach, honestly, because of the way we play. Not because Stach is a bad player or anything like that, but just because of the way we play and the intensity of the league. Only for that reasons. Those reasons, sorry.
It's like Spee's interesting because, you know, like he can take people on. If he's there, he'll take him on, he'll run past him. But he does that not because he's necessarily really quick. Over 5 or 10 yards, he's got a long stride. He's 6'4", and he uses his body well. So that allows him to get in front of people. Not like, you know, like a Ramazani or something who knocks the ball past him and goes, Dan James, for example. It's a different type of it. He's a very smart player, though. It's one thing I like about him.
I think Jer's put in a question, and I think you're best placed to answer this, Lockie. Could Tanaka potentially move into the box-to-box 8 role?
Not for me.
I don't think... I mean, physically, you need... all I have in my mind, and I keep mentioning it, it's probably because I only know him, it's Doucouré at Everton, man. Yeah. He's so physically such a specimen, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's...
I'd take him.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be a beast. Tanaka's more of a... I know Joe loves this word. He's a tempo setting 8 for me, in the sense that he'll keep the ball ticking, he'll connect the two kind of thing, he'll keep the ball moving. But is Tanaka going to drive 10, 15 yards with the ball when we need him? Is he going to attack spaces? I think if we've got the ball and we're camping on the edge of their box, Tanaka's quite useful because he can hit it, he's a decent passer. But we're talking about when we quickly need to get up the pitch here. Yeah. I don't think so. He's the guy that can give the ball, find a space, receive it, you know what I mean? But we need a powerful athlete, basically. And I don't think Tanaka's that. He's a good athlete, but he's not powerful, is he really?
No.
Yeah. And he can be what Rodman was.
All I think, I know this is the extreme, but I just think about Newcastle's midfield and how powerful and just dominant and, you know, even Arsenal next year, Zubimendi, Rice, etc. You know, and just think of the midfields we're going to be going up against. It's a joke, really. So,
do you know, for me, Joe, Elliot Anderson, that type of profile.
Yeah, he's a good player.
You know, the way Elliot Anderson gets the ball, just drives forward with it, but can also find a pass and works really hard. I'm looking at their midfield. You know, they've got the steel in there, but they've also got someone like Elliot Anderson who can drive with it. So, a profile like that for me. That's why I mentioned a few weeks ago, I mentioned Chukwuemeka, and I know that's a risk because of his recent form, but that type of player who can just get the ball and drive with it is what we need, in my opinion.
No, that's fair.
There's another one that fits that category, you know, of what you said about Elliot Anderson, you know, use Ferguson, but I think he's out of reach. But if you can find that kind of profile, that's the perfect number 8. Tanaka, I agree. For me, he can do what Waffle did in the championship, you know, that kind of role, you know, like you said, tempo setting, helping in getting forward without the ball, you know, in order to get the build up in a higher position in the final third, you know, and that is like an advanced playmaker, you know, if he moves forward up the pitch without the ball, you know.
Rysel makes a good point. Longstaff's still available. I look at Longstaff like Kamara, and what I mean by that is not in terms of thing. I just think Longstaff's an option that's there. Do you know what I mean? If we can't get better, that might sound disrespectful, but I just think he's that gettable that they'll go, okay, well, Longstaff's there. You know, like they did with Kamara when they were trying to get Tanaka. They couldn't get Tanaka right. They pushed the button on Kamara. So, And that's no disrespect to Longstaff, by the way.
I think he's seriously underrated, I'll be honest. I think he's massively underrated. We've mentioned all these.
He's ginger and he's from North East. It's like,
exactly.
He's rubbish.
and he's not 6'4". I think he's seriously underrated. You got to remember where they are, and like we just mentioned, look at their midfield. Look at Newcastle's midfield; it's an absolute joke. So the fact that he's even getting minutes in that is impressive. But I'd love Longstaff as well. I've mentioned this before. Premier League experience, we don't have it yet. Get him in there, setting that standard at training. you know, someone who's done it here for years now is so important. So 100%, I'd take Langstaff.
He said, please take Langstaff, I beg.
He's a Toon fan. He's
a
Toon
Newcastle fan. Yeah. Joe taking shots? If I have, I haven't intentionally, so I don't know what's being said, bro. Like, genuinely. So if someone said something, then I genuinely don't know. So maybe I do it. I'm doing it and I don't even know I'm doing it. Johnny, send me a WhatsApp, mate, and let me know what you mean.
This is what it does.
Yeah.
Like
genuinely, I'm like, what? Yeah, so boys, quick question. Yeah. My Leeds United training gear just arrived. Postman's here.
Right. I ordered this morning through your link.
Callum Wilson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, discuss.
Go on, Andre, you go first. I'm going to bring something up.
I think Calvert-Lewin is going to Man United. Callum Wilson would be a very good signing. I'll take him all day long, honestly. He's done it for England in the World Cup too. So, yeah, I think he's a journeyman, experienced one, knows the Premier League like the back of his pocket. So you need to bring in Premier League experience, something we didn't do when we moved to the Premier League the last time around, because we only got players basically from abroad. Really, I think if we look at that, we never get a player from another Premier League club. Honestly, Koch, Llorente, Rodrigo.
Hello.
Here it is. The one I ordered this morning too. The one I ordered this morning. That's one.
Bad boy. Yeah,
looks good. Looks good. New signing.
It's not stitched on, it's sticker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like ironed on. That might cause issues in wash, huh?
Yeah, it'll be off that.
Yeah. No, it looks nice,
wash it.
Doesn't it?
Like wash, yeah, man.
Yeah, looks good.
Love it.
You know what? It looks like a good away shirt too. That's why I've ordered it, you know. Ooh. That's the sweatshirt jumper. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the half zip.
Half zips. Love a half zip.
The funny thing is this live started as a transfer window and now it's turned into an unboxing one.
I knew it was coming though. It was 155 was the latest it had come. So yeah,
that's nice. That. I like the jacket. Yeah. I love a half zip. Yeah, I like the half zip.
New shirt coming tomorrow.
I didn't know we signed the Conor Goalie from Postmort.
I know, yeah. Well, I think we're training again on Sunday, aren't we, Lockie? So I'll have it on. I will look like Conor O'Glivy. Joe does say the green one in the pic I sent you is sticker, never washed off, 2 years old. Oh, there. Yeah, great stuff then. Fair. Right. Sorry, boys. I know I shut off. The reason I asked you both on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson, obviously Callum Wilson today has not signed. I would believe he'd signed his year extension. He's not. He's going to leave. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been linked to Manchester United. People are asking questions. People are tagging. Do you think we should look at that, or is it a case of we've got Metcha, we've probably still got Pat, Pirro, we need someone we can really count on and who we know is going to be fit?
That's my worry. Is I like them both. I think if you can get a tune out of both of them, you're laughing as a newly promoted team, honestly. My worry, like you said, Metcha has had injury records in the last few years. Bamford's injury record. Pirro's not his injury record's a joke. But again, we don't know if he can play in the Premier League, right? So we could be in a situation where we've got some quality striker options, but all could be injured, and then we're just relying on Perri again. That's my worry. So I think we need someone that's done it last year, done well last year, that is fit, that doesn't have a bad injury record for me. That's what we need, because we have... It's annoying because they are very good. And look, if we sign them, I won't be complaining, but I'll be saying, right, let's be careful here, because I don't want to rely on these players that have proven year after year that they can't be fit for more than half a season. That's my worry. So I'd like someone like Muniz who's established, and even though, look, it might not be the perfect profile or whatever, but at least I know he's going to play. He's going to be fit, and he's actually scored in the Premier League in the last few years. That's what I'm kind of looking for, I think.
You know what? There's a player that has not been linked still with other clubs. He lives in Stuttgart, Germany. Plays for Bosnia.
Yeah.
Don't say it out loud because we don't want Sunderland to hear. But
Sunderland, mate,
this
we hate it.
player, you know.
I need to find a Sunderland creator, man, and go speak to them and that. Cause
There used to be one that used to do both Leeds and Sunderland, remember?
me. Oh yeah.
Oh.
My new mics came today, so I've got all the kit ready
Nice.
to go for like on location. So I'm gonna bring it with me Sunday as well, Lockie, and we can do maybe some videos after and stuff. Big Watson said, "We'll do you a double deal for Longstaff and Willock." I'd take them both, man. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I love Willock. It'd be perfect for us.
Definitely.
Joe
But
Willock.
he'll keep one of them. I think Newcastle will keep one. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifi, we were only just talking yesterday saying you haven't been on for a while. Big up to you, my guy. He says, greetings, Joe and friends. Would love that young Portuguese player at Southampton. Yeah, it's Matias Fernandes, I believe his name is. He says, creative and touch. Great show, lad. Yeah, they picked him up from Sporting, I think, last summer. Would that be one? Like, I've seen him linked, but not from anyone credible. But he is a player. There is some players like Fernandes, Tyler Dibbling, you've got Amari Hutchinson at Ipswich. There are some players that you could potentially take from relegated sides. Would he be one you might look at, folks?
They've sold Suleiman, I think, to Atalanta, Southampton.
Yeah,
I will take him, honestly. But I don't know. Maybe he will say, honestly, just 20 years of age. You know, they might do like other clubs. You know, when Norwich got down, they kept Buendia. I think Sheffield United too, when they went down, they kept Sanderberg. So yeah, after the first season in the Premier League, you know. So I think they will try to, especially with Will Steele, you know, they will try to keep him at the club. Honestly, to be fair for me, but I will take him in a heartbeat. To be fair, I will take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. What about yourself, Lockie Fernandes?
I didn't watch him much last year. I watched a little of him at the tournament, the 21s tournament. But honestly, when he was playing, I was just obsessed with Gustavo Sa, who plays for Andre Knows. He kind of
Amari Hutchinson,
yeah.
What about Amari Hutchinson?
Player, yeah. Fantastic player. You kind of look at him as well, and he's kind of profile. There is a bit of similarity to Solomon in the way he plays as well. So you wonder if Farker wants to replace that potentially. But yeah, Hutchinson's. Did he have a good year last year? He was all right, wasn't he?
He was all right.
Yeah. So I'd look. Yeah, I think if you bring in someone like that, it's the price in it. How much would he cost? I guess because I'm assuming it costs 25 plus, right?
Yeah, it would.
20 plus.
Do you not think we were talking about this yesterday with Joe and Paul, like saying that Leeds are going to have to start spending that soon, because if you look at some of the signings that these teams made last season, and I count like Amari Hutchinson in there, they paid that for them. Taylor Howard Bellis at Southampton, they paid 20 on. We are going to have to get to a position where we have to spend some serious cash, I think, can't we, in forward areas?
I was talking to Andrea this other day in voice notes about there's going to be a point where we're going to have to, if we really want a target and we need that target, we'll have to slightly overpay. There'll come a point where we'll have to, because we're going for players now that will be wanted by other Premier League teams. And there's going to be a time where if you keep, I'm not saying we are missing, but say we keep missing out on our top targets, but we're bringing our second target or third target, that's good. But there'll be a time where you look at the squad, we need that number one target now. We need that player. You'll have to overpay. You'll have to do it. So it will come. I don't know where. I don't know what position. Maybe the striker, maybe even the goalkeeper. If it is Savic, you know, maybe even the 10, whenever that comes around. The winger is another one. So, yeah, we're doing excellent business. But I think we all, deep down, well, I do anyway, I think there will be a big one. I think it might be later on in the window, but I think there'll be quite a big
we need to do
20 odd million signing,
Yeah. I better listen to Donny Keys. There has been a few people complimenting the new training gear. Listen, folks, you can purchase it. Obviously, I think you get free shipping in the UK currently, actually. Free shipping in the UK. Sorry, Andrea. I don't know if you had to pay.
Yeah, I know. I've paid, yeah.
yeah. If you're in the UK, you get free shipping. You can use my link. As I say, you're not going to like it's exactly the same as purchasing it through the club site. It just is. Obviously helps me out. So yeah, big up to Fanatics for getting me on board. They're our new kit provider. So yeah, and I have paid for this. Someone said in the chat, I genuinely have paid for this. They're not giving me kits, I'll tell you that much. I wish they were. But yeah, Evie, whoever said they like it and might treat themselves, then please do use that link. So it'll massively help me out. So please do that. Overpay on goalkeeper and 9. Do it now, and then spread what's left around the midfield. Boys, do you think we need a winger as well? Don't we? We need a winger. I'm not.
Absolutely.
I know people disagree with me. People, Nonto's better in the Prem because he had a good 6 months. I'm not sure it's going to translate. He burst onto the scene and then he's dropped off. I'm not sure on Ramazani. So for me, we need a winger because we've got 3 basically. We need a winger.
I think we need 2.
Yeah,
one on the left and one on the right.
Yeah.
And then you'll have Ramazani and another one, for example, on the left. Or maybe you have Ramazani and Yonto on the left, and the new one, and James on the right. But I think we need to bring in 2 starters. I know that is really unrealistic right now because they want, especially for the investment they made Ramazani last season in terms of in that transfer. Of course they got him on a long contract. They want to don't walk back on that investment they made last season. But I think for the Premier League, we need 2 new wingers. And then the other ones, you see many other clubs have like 4 or 5 wingers. There's an helicopter passing through. If you hear something in the background, like Apocalypse Now, But yeah, I think we need to bring in at least 2 wingers, because other clubs, they have 4 or 5 wingers. And I think we need to look at that and try to replicate that, not because of just replicate that, but because of different characteristics, different traits. I think our wingers are, apart from James, Nyonto and Ramazani, very similar. So you need to bring in like wingers that can do what Solomon did, playing more inside and helping the build-up. 1v1 players, but taller, faster. In that case, I think Loriente, who was linked, will go to Sunderland because of the Regis Lebris link there, because he brought him through the academy at Lorient and was the manager that gave me instead. So, but I want two wingers, to be fair, one on the left and one on the right.
I think we do need 2 as well, I would say, because there's no guarantees James is as good as he was last season, Locker.
No, this is it now. This is we've got. I love our wingers, but they are all unproven or inexperienced in top flight. Obviously, James is experienced there, but he's not had the best of time in it. He looks like a better player, but you truly don't know until you see it. Nonto had a good 3 months in the Prem. I remember it didn't, obviously it was part of the 21s originally, but then he came in, did well, was really, really impressive. But obviously the context being the entire team was terrible and he was very, very young, so it's probably not fair. But the point is it's not proven, and he's been inconsistent the last 2 years in a lower league that he should be destroying every single week. Ramazani, again, no experience, could be great. Not saying he can't be, but we don't know because I've not seen it. We need a guy, for me, who, like I said, with most of our targets, the winger one is for me. I think we need an absolute demon in there. I think we need someone. This is the one where I'd pay more, the winger. I think the way we build up is really important. Our wide plays is vital. I think even if you look at Rafinha, and we weren't reliant on him necessarily, but when we struggled in games, how important was he out wide? Just to cut inside, beat his man 1v1 and score. It's as a striker and a 10, it's quite difficult sometimes to get into games. But as a winger, you're wide, so you're always kind of in space. You've always got a way to affect the game. So it's quite important for me in the Prem that we bring someone in that is an absolute demon, to be fair. So and obviously, look, I know people, I've seen some Paixão, we're not getting. That would be insane if we got him. We're not going to. I think Jack said Bakayoko as well. Bakayoko from PSV is interesting. I like him, but I watched a lot of him last year, PSV. Yeah, PSV. I've seen him get back-pocketed by Eredivisie left-backs, and I've seen him tear them apart. He's very inconsistent, but a good player. So there's loads out there, and look, I'm sure we'll do a scouting report in a few weeks potentially about that. But yeah, 100%, we need a winger, mate. I think we need a winger that you look at and go, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we definitely do. I mean, people have mentioned Jack Harrison as well. I'm sorry to upset the chat. I know everyone goes off the red, but he's another option, Andrea, that still we don't know what's happening. There's been talk Everton might take him, and then so I don't know. I think Jack, if he's happy to stay, I think the club will. I think Farker will be willing to work with Jack Harrison.
I don't think he fits the system, to be fair, because he was there in some crucial moment in our recent history, especially Brentford, and the season 2021, the season prior to the Euros, when he had a great season, deserved a look at by Gareth Southgate, but didn't get one. After that, it's been downwards, especially after what happened in January 2023 with Leicester, They decided last minute to don't go ahead and give the green light to Leicester to make the signing, and then we return to Leeds. I think he doesn't fit the system. And honestly, like I said, he was there in some crucial moments. But apart from 2021 and in the Championship, honestly, I don't like the player, to be fair. He stalls too much, especially with his back on goal. His decision making, I don't like it. The best trait he had was the through ball into space for midfield. I think he's limited. His style is limited, and it doesn't fit us. He's fit more clubs like Everton, those kind of clubs. But it will be difficult to sell because in the end, it was nothing exceptional, at Everton in the last 2 seasons. To be fair, so yeah,
I like him.
It's a difficult one.
I disagree, Andrea. I like him, me. I do like him. Look, I know you'll go down well in the chat with that, but I think to say when we're saying he suits Everton, his record will tell you that he done. If you compare that record to when he was at Leeds in a Bielsa team, he got goals and assists. So I think I still rate him. I know that gets me loads of hate, but I like him.
No, he performed what he was at Leeds, in some crucial moments. But after that, I think his style of football diminished, and especially in the last 2 seasons when we were there, apart from that Brentford goal and the final part of the season. The thing for me is that he's very good technically, good shot, but in the build-up, especially when he's very wide, I think his game compared to when he first arrived at Leeds is getting limited. Has got limited, in terms of what he can do. And we've seen on that side, left-footed Solomon going inside, helping in the build-up, and Harrison, I think he cannot do that, especially because he can play. He plays on the left. He can play on the right too, going inside with his left foot. But I don't know, honestly, with this style of football. We'll see. And if he stays, I'll judge him from what I see, of course. But I think we'll need to transform him. Yeah.
I think with Harrison and Farker wingers, just trying to think of some profiles, I think they need to be either very creative, i.e. Buendia, who obviously played on the right for Farker, but was ultra creative, right? He could do a Campbell, again, really creative, really powerful 1v1. Hernandez as well, 1v1 winger. Nonto, 1v1 winger. Ramazani, 1v1. Dan James, running behind. Yeah. Does he fit any of that? He's more of a build-up kind of...
100%, but do we expect that going into the Premier League?
Absolutely. 1v1, I think that's really important, yeah. Particularly the fact that we will have less the ball. When we break, it's that 1v1, right? Can we get forward quick? Look, Harrison, there's a reason managers get him because he's a very good guy. He's a good athlete. He'll do his job. Yep, dependable. But I just think we need a little more personality on the pitch. I think in other positions we can be more dependable, like we are doing when we're buying sensible players. But for the wingers, for me, they need to be our sole creatives. And I just don't see him. Could be wrong. Like you said, he's shown it in the past. But I don't see him under Farker being that dependent, creative winger that can win us a game, if that makes sense. But that's just my opinion. Could be wrong.
That's fair.
You know what the future is for Harrison for me? The next years of his career, change of position. In teams that play with a back three, he can be the left wing back. in midfield. For me, that's the role he needs to look for his next season in his career, honestly, because he's better when he has space in front of him that he can exploit to. Remember Zappacosta at Chelsea, for example, on the other side. That kind of player, he can be that kind of player. I think he works better in that position for the future, not right now, essentially, but for the future, yes.
Yeah, I think Will, 100%. No, please know that I'm not saying we should, like Joe B made a point in the comments. If he wasn't our player, he wouldn't be that fussed on. I hear it, but he is our player. So mine is like, if he stays, I'm all right with it. I'm not saying go out and spend money on him. Is what I'm definitely not saying, and I wouldn't advocate that either.
Because is our player in there, so we're not bringing him in. Yeah.
So if he stays, then I'm okay with it. Do you know what I mean? That's my point. Of course, I'd still prefer us to go out and get a Solomon and names like this. Like, there's so many wingers out there, like so many.
This is it. I was just going to quickly say, mate, sorry. Like, if he did stay, fine, but still bring me that winger, basically. Yeah,
100%. Because I would not, hear me, I would not be comfortable with Ramazani, Nonto, James and Harrison.
Exactly.
That is not good. That is not
Looks
good.
like a championship side.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
You need one at least. I want to.
What about D Hall?
Just Boreal, I think he means.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I think, does he stay at Chelsea? I think he's been.
I have no idea, but has he been
Yeah,
pre-season?
in and out.
Has he been playing in the?
I don't think he's played in the Club World Cup. I don't think, and didn't play much last season. But again, I think Brighton wanted him before he went Chelsea.
Yeah,
it'd be somewhere like that would take him. If I'm honest, but I would take him. Someone mentioned Harvey Barnes. If Newcastle get Elanga again, Harvey Barnes can play on either side. Yeah. He'll be kept. There's no way they get rid of Harvey Barnes. They want to make the team bigger, not smaller.
Do you know what it is though, Joe? The one. Sorry, mate. Just one sec. Like, because we're in the Prem and we're just thinking about money. There's still a low market. So maybe late in the window, like an Enciso went to an Ipswich last year, a player that you'd expect to play higher. But he went there on loan, right? So maybe at the end of the window, Dewsbury Hall's there. We need a player on look. We've got the loan spot.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to play. He just wants to play games. Just for a loan. You're not committing your future there. So maybe that's when we could look at players like this. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Boys, we'll finish up because we've done an hour and 3 minutes. I didn't expect us to do that long, but it's always great chatting with you two. Listen, folks, it is Monday, 2:00. We're expecting Goodmanson to be announced or definitely get closer over the next 24 to 48 hours. Who knows what will happen by the end of the week? Of course, the lads are in for pre-season testing today as well, so we might get some video content a little bit later on to have a look at from a Leeds perspective. So watch this space, but I'm expecting it to get busier and busier now that everyone's back at Four Parch. The manager will be in the ears of the scouts and the sporting directors now, so it'll be a daily thing. So hopefully we'll start to see it pick up. Make sure you go check out Lockie Leeds, obviously, for all your scouting and analysis needs on players Leeds United are linked with. Make sure you check out Andrea on Twitter. He knows ball more than most. And if you like this new training gear, then please do use the link that's in the description and get yourself some new Leeds United gear. I do just want to categorically say I don't work for the club. It's a partnership with Fanatics, okay? Not with Leeds United. If you want, I can sell you an Inter Milan shirt. I can sell you a Spurs shirt as well if you want. I'm only selling it because it's a Leeds. Anyway, there you go. Joe says, Andrea, my coach. Yeah. Also, make sure you get the Content Creator Cup tickets. They're still on offer. £7 adults, £3 children. You can also pay on the day. I think we're having a training session on Sunday as well, so we're going to be in peak physical condition.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll get my top corner goal this time.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take my gimbal and my gear, mate. So I'm going to have it so that it's recording it, and then obviously I can edit it.
None of my good bits got caught on camera, which is a shame.
Yeah. All my shit bits did. But it's gonna be good fun. So yeah, do that. Have you got Harrison on the back? Yeah, man. yeah. Haradonna. Haradonna, wasn't it? Haradonna. That's what Anyway, cheers, boys. And listen, folks, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.